Hi, everyone. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
Hi, I'm Stephanie.
And today we're going to continue talking about the emotional labor behind service with a smile. Now, remember, we did say that this is very similar to someone having a high EQ, being able to keep your emotions in check, to keep them in control or under control. And last time we talked about an example of someone who has some terrible tragedy happening in their family, but they still need to go to their job in the service industry and smile while they're working, while they still have this terrible news in the back of their minds.
Oh, that's a tough one. Yeah, that particular scenario was quite sad. Becky, remember, had a service industry job and had found out that day that she went to work that her dad had terminal cancer, and there was no treatment that would bring him back this time. So sometimes you have to work when you're not feeling your best, especially emotionally, and that's what we're going to be talking about more of today. How to control those emotions, especially the negative ones that might be erupting or, wanting to come out inside you, but you have to put on that happy face and give some good service. Don't fake it. I don't like people who are not genuine. I think you can still be genuine and provide good service. So let's get started. We're going to read through today's article and then we'll be back. The pressure to suppress negative emotions and put on a happy face can be more widespread in some cultures than others. In some parts of the world, there are established norms about what outward expressions of emotions are considered acceptable. In other parts of the world, people are free to express whatever is on their mind. What's more, one's race and gender may dictate the amount of emotional labor that is expected of an individual. Research shows that Black people are perceived as less friendly and less competent compared to their colleagues. In fact, just being polite is often not enough. Black customer service representatives often have to exaggerate their smiles and show more enthusiasm to be viewed as positively as their white coworkers. Studies also suggest that women feel more compelled to mask their feelings in the workplace in comparison to their male counterparts. Constantly having to keep your emotions in check can be exceptionally exhausting. Moreover, when employees habitually put on an act, they can experience depression, anxiety, decreased job performance, and even burnout. Of course, not everyone has the luxury of working at their dream job. Therefore, it's imperative to learn how to cope with the strain of emotional labor by re-examining your situation, changing your perspective, or taking a break whenever you feel overwhelmed. Having someone at work to share your frustrations with is also beneficial. What's more, it's crucial for organizations to provide a supportive work environment that equips workers with the skills and resources to manage their emotions as well as the emotions of others they interact with. Keeping these tactics in mind will help lighten the load of emotional labor.
Okay, let's continue talking about giving service with a smile. Now, here our lesson today begins by saying, the pressure to suppress negative emotions and put on a happy face can be more widespread in some cultures than others. Yes, so if you travel to other countries and you have to deal with, say, people at airports or in restaurants and things like that, you'll probably get a different impression based on where you are. So, say, for example, if you go to maybe Sweden or something, you might think that people there are kind of cold and unfriendly, but then if you go to Italy, they'll seem really friendly and helpful and stuff like that. So that's probably what they're talking about here. So yeah, if you go to work and you're dealing with customers, you've got to be friendly, you've got to be amiable, you've got to be approachable, and you've just got to cover up those bad feelings if you have them. Not everybody goes to work all depressed and stuff, but sometimes you do feel that way and you have to force yourself to smile.
Yeah, we're using this word suppress, which just means you're trying to forcibly put an end to something or prevent something from coming out or developing. So here you're trying to prevent those negative emotions from escaping while you're at work. It's true. You'll find attitudes are different all around the world. It's even different in the United States. The attitudes in New York City are very different than the attitudes in, say, Texas. You know, everybody's happy in Texas and they're so friendly. New York, not so much. You'll really feel like you're in a different country in New York City. But yeah, it just depends on where you are. So it's kind of fun to see that there are differences all around the world. Now, in some parts of the world, you can just let people know how you feel. We're talking about norms. Have you seen that word, norms? It just means things that are normally done, something that's usual in some sort of system, the standard that people look for in either an industry or even within a culture. So there are established norms, what people expect about what outward expressions of emotions are considered acceptable.
Generally speaking, you're supposed to be friendly, but there are different norms around the world about how you deal with customers and your outward expressions and your emotions and how you suppress bad feelings and stuff like that. Back to the word norm there, I just wanted to give you an example. Here in Taiwan, removing your shoes before entering someone's home is an established norm. That's a tradition. You're supposed to do that. You're not supposed to ask ahead of time unless they tell you, no, it's okay, please come in. Don't take off your shoes, but most of the time, the norm is to remove your shoes. Now, in other parts of the world, people are free to express whatever is on their mind. So sometimes, yeah, you got to shut up and let the customer talk, but in other places, it's okay for you to get involved in the conversation as well. It kind of depends on where you are. There are different standards all over the world.
There sure are. Now, moving on to the next paragraph, it says, what's more, one's race and gender may dictate the amount of emotional labor that is expected of someone. So if something dictates something, it just means something's telling you how you need to behave. So based on your race and your gender, you might be a female and you might be a Latino or a Latina if you're a female. More might be expected of you than, say, a guy who's also from Latin America. So dictate. Sometimes we use this word dictate to say that someone's trying to tell us what to do, right? But it can also just mean control or affect something. And here that's what it means. Now, you've seen the word dictator. That's a person who is in control of his country and he doesn't let people have the freedom they want. He tells them what they must do. But here it just means to control or affect the way people behave usually.
Exactly. So, for example, I could say, hey, I've been working here for 10 years. Don't dictate to me how to do my job. Don't tell me how to do my job, etc. But here, dictate means determine. So, yeah, race and gender may determine or dictate the amount of emotional labor that is expected of you. Now, research shows that black people are perceived as less friendly and less competent compared to their colleagues. Okay, that's according to research, I suppose, in the United States. Now, I've usually had fairly positive experiences with the black people. If they're working in service, they tend to be pretty amiable, pretty friendly and stuff like that. But I guess some people perceive them or see them as less friendly. So here, perceive just means that's how you look at something. That's the impression it gives you. So for some people, if they want to get something done at a company and they talk to a black service representative, they think, hey, this person is being very cold and not very helpful.
And that's why we're using this word perceive. That may not be what the service person feels like at all, but that's how the customer perceives it. If you perceive something a certain way, that's your interpretation of it. I think it's kind of your own way of looking at things. And, you know, Everybody perceives things a little differently, I would say. So in fact, it says just being polite is often not enough for some of these black customer service reps. They often have to exaggerate their smiles and show more enthusiasm to be viewed as positively as their white coworkers. So if you exaggerate something, guys, you overdo it. You're a little dramatic. So you represent something as being bigger, better, or worse. It could also be much worse than it really is. So they make their smiles really big and they try to be extra enthusiastic as they deal with people just so that they'll be perceived as fairly, I think, as the white coworkers.
Yeah, that's according to some research, so they have to work twice as hard. And studies or research also suggest that women feel more compelled to mask their feelings in the workplace in comparison to their male counterparts. Again, that's according to studies and some research here. Women feel that it is necessary to mask or hide their feelings in the workplace. They need to be quiet, basically, and not express their opinions or at least their emotions, at least when compared to their male counterparts. Your counterpart, of course, is the person who is in the same position as you, but in a different place. In this particular case, it's the different gender here, your male counterpart, and to you would be their female counterpart.
Right, or say we worked in politics and I was the president of a country and Tom was a president of another country. I would refer to him as my male counterpart or just my counterpart because we have the same jobs but different places. This is probably a good time to take a break, Tom, right?
Yep.
We're going to listen to our Chinese teacher and then we'll be back.
Hi everyone, my name is Jenny. 我们今天要继续来看这一篇文章，这是第9单元。好，我们的主题呢，谈的是 emotional labor。我们说过，这个词汇其实跟 labor 我们本来的解读有点不太一样，它不是 physical labor， 而是 emotional。那所以说，尤其提到了服务业里面，可能这个是最常见的。那今天就要来探讨，是不是有一些什么样的因素让你的情绪 labor 这个 emotional labor 是比别人在别的情况里面更多，还有什么样的解决之道呢？首先就提到我们要压抑自己的情绪啊，可能有一些文化里面会比其他文化来的普遍，所以看到这句话里面 more widespread in some cultures than others，我们知道 more than 这就是比较级，那提到在一些文化里面跟其他文化里面来看，会比较有这种所谓的 emotional labor。 那我们来看这个地方的 than THAN， 我们知道 than 基本上在比较级里面我们一定会用到这个字，前后在比较的时候，前面某一些字汇就不会重复出现，你其实不讲出来也没关系。像这个地方谈的前面是 in some cultures， 而后面呢其实是讲 in other cultures， 不过我们就用 others 也就清清楚楚了。好，再来我们继续往下看，下面就说到了，除了我们说到文化不同，那你会压抑自己情绪的这种情况可能也就不同。那另外下一段就告诉大家，你的性别还有你的种族可能也有影响哦。那谈到种族方面，如果你是黑人，跟一些刻板印象有关，可能人家就觉得你是比较不友善，你比较不能干。好，跟谁比呢？跟你的同事比。所以 compared to， 我们注意到 compared 加 to， 当然就是和谁做比较，而这个我们已经把它当作片语来看。那记得A is compared to B， 本来就是一个被动的一个写法，所以这边的 PP 是很正常的。好，那刚刚除了 race 之外，还有提到 gender 也就是男女之别。那女员工呢，可能相对之下是跟男员工来比，会必须要更加的隐藏你自己的感受。好，我们来看看这个地方有一个句型要注意的，也就是 feel more compelled to， 这 compel 本来是有勉强的意思，也就是说你要勉强自己 去做到这一点。好，那所以跟男性做比较的话，这边用到了一个片语 in comparison to， 我们刚刚说到 compare to， 另外跟它相同的片语 in comparison to 用名词的字形来表示一样的解释。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, let's continue with our lesson. Again, we're talking about the emotional labor behind service with a smile. When you work, you've got to put away your emotions and put on a happy face. Now, we were just talking about racial and gender differences, and we were also touching on different cultures around the world, okay? Different cultures have different ideas about how you should act if you're working in sales or the service industry, how you should deal with customers and stuff like that. Are you being too friendly? Are you not being friendly enough? It varies from place to place and from races to genders. Now, here in the next paragraph, it says, constantly having to keep your emotions in check can be exceptionally exhausting. So here we've got the phrase to keep something in check, which means to keep it under control. Don't let it get away from you. Don't start getting angry. Don't start screaming at your customer. You've got to keep your emotions in check. You've got to remain cool, calm, and collected.
I've heard people say, hey, you need to check yourself, you know, like an older person saying that to a younger person who's misbehaving. You need to check yourself, son. I think I saw that in a movie, actually. So if you're putting on an act, I have to warn you, a lot of your customers are going to figure that out. I don't like people who are fake or not being genuine. So if the sales rep or the customer service person is too happy, it's a little weird. So try not to do that. But sometimes you really do have to hide your true feelings. Some of these employees can experience depression, anxiety, decreased job performance, they don't do as well, and even burnout, of course. Burnout's a word we use when someone's just been working too hard with not enough time to refresh themselves, get some rest, do something different. I've had a couple jobs where I literally worked every day, and it got to the point where I just had to leave. I just wasn't happy about life anymore. Yeah, I made a lot of money, but sometimes money isn't enough. So burnout is that feeling where you're just empty inside. You don't want to get to that point.
I hear this is a problem with people who work at hotels because guests in hotels, especially if they're rich people, just love to complain about things and
order
to abuse the employees
yeah.
and stuff like that. So, yeah, I don't think people last very long in hotels. But, of course, not everyone has the luxury of working at their dream job. Yes,
True.
we'd all like to be a rock and roll star or something like that, or to be a fashion model or a famous actress or whatever. Those are our dream jobs. The rest of us, you know, we have to take what we can get. And sometimes the only job available is to do, say, telemarketing or handling customer complaints on the phone or working in customer service. And therefore, you might suffer from some of these symptoms here: depression, anxiety, and even burnout.
Yeah, therefore, it's imperative to learn how to cope with the strain of emotional labor. So if something's imperative, it's essential, it's crucial, it's vital. Those are all really good synonyms for imperative. You should learn a couple of them and then try practicing them, use them in your sentences. If you want to learn how to cope with the strain of emotional labor, you need to re-examine your situation. Do you really want to be there? Are you doing all you can to control those emotions so you don't have a burnout or get really depressed or lose your job? You need to change your perspective, how you see things. So that's a really good idea too, to try to look at your customer's side of things instead of thinking, they're attacking me. How dare they attack me? I'm the one who can help them. change your perspective, put yourselves in their shoes, as we like to say, and see if you can come up with some empathy for them.
Yeah, I think something key is to not take it personally.
Yeah.
They're not really mad at you. They're mad at your company, or they may even be mad at themselves. They may have their own personal issues. But if you change your perspective, that might help you out. But hey, if it's too much for you, you might get overwhelmed, and you should take a break. So if you're overwhelmed, that means it's just too much. I can't take it anymore. I need to take a break and get a different job or something like that.
Sure.
Now, having someone at work to share your frustrations with is also beneficial. So yeah, if you work with other people in the service industry and you're taking a break together, or you get together for a meal after work, yeah, discuss this stuff. Yeah, I dealt with a customer today and he was being a real jerk. Oh, I was too. How did you deal with that? I dealt with a customer who was really awful as well. She just complained about everything. So yeah, if you get together with somebody and discuss these things together and share your frustrations, then that will be beneficial.
Yeah, I've talked about my job where I managed people in a group, and one of she was one of the assistant managers. She didn't respond well to criticism, and so the company sent her on, it was like a week-long thing for her to learn how to control her reactions better. The consultants wouldn't turn away from her thinking she didn't want to help them. Did
it work?
Yeah, she got much better. So it does help if you have a company that wants to equip workers with the skills and resources that they need to help manage their emotions. She'd never gone through some of these things before, and she didn't react well. But she was a great worker and really good at what she did. She just didn't have a very good interactive face, Sometimes she had a frown when she should have been smiling, or at least keeping it neutral. Sometimes companies will help you by giving you those skills that you need by sending you to some sort of workshop or training, which can be really helpful.
Or maybe they can tell the employees to be nicer to this person or something because they might be going through some emotional stress or something like that, etc., etc. So in any case here, it does go on to say, what's more, it's crucial for organizations to provide a supportive work environment that equips workers with the skills and resources to manage their emotions as well as the emotions of others they interact with, which I think you were just talking about there, Stephanie. The company actually provides a supportive work environment for those people. If they're having problems dealing with customers, they can send them away on some kind of seminar or something like that, or do something for them, attend a workshop or something like that. So yes, indeed, companies can certainly help out with their employers. Although, of course, lots of companies don't have the budget for stuff like that. So most of us kind of have to figure out a way to deal with these problems ourselves.
Get a book. I would buy books and read them,
yeah,
for myself. So keeping these tactics in mind will help lighten the load of emotional labor. Yeah, you want to lighten your load, that stress that sometimes you feel in those positions. Tactics are strategies or certain types of actions that we take in order to achieve a particular result. So keep these tactics in mind. They're really good, actually. And if your company can't afford you to send you to some sort of workshop, get a book, get online, go to the library. There's lots of stuff you can read that'll help you.
Yeah, tactic here is very similar in meaning to strategy.
Yeah.
But to me, strategy is more of what you're thinking about doing, and then the tactic is more the action, okay? So you've got these different tactics, these different strategies, these different plans in mind, and they will help lighten the load not only for yourself, but for the people around you.
True.
And, of course, lots of you out there are working in the service industry, and you're going to for a long time. And so helpfully, you can figure out a way to deal with the emotional stress. But I guess my advice would be, yeah, don't take it personally. And lots of people have to do jobs like this all the time. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. It's time now to listen to our Chinese teacher.
好，接下来谈到性别，谈到 race 种族。那我们知道， 问题到底在哪里呢？下面就说，其实我们知道要控制自己的情绪，当然会很累。那有时候你知道，如果你一直这样压抑情绪的话，可能会有以下他所说的几种症状，像 depression 忧郁，像你会 anxiety 有焦虑的状况，还有呢，你的工作表现也会下降，甚至于你会整个人觉得 burn out， 也就是精疲力竭。那如果有这样子的状况，你觉得自己就快要被压垮的时候，要怎么办？所以最后这里就给大家一些 solutions， 应该怎么办？有一些建议。他提到 It's imperative to learn how to cope with the strain。 好，这个地方imperative 这个字很重要，这就是表示一定要这样做，必要的，一定得要的。好，要怎么做呢？要学着如何处理你这种紧张跟压力。好，那提到这一点，后面他还有说，此外，当然你如果要处理这种紧张压力，可能你就要 re-examining your situation， 重新审视自己的处境，这是一。还有你要 changing your perspective， 改变你的观点。再来休息一下， taking a break。 此外，后面又告诉大家，除此之外还有一个，要跟工作的人一起分享你的挫折感。再来最后这边又提到，如果说就一个组织来说，应该要提供给员工的就是一个充满支持的工作环境，这样子又得到了支援，当然对整个工作环境对员工来说都是好的。好，我们今天的讲解就到这边结束，我们下次见。
Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and please join us again next time for another edition of our program. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.